Hi everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled, the TV podcast here on the Mel Fuzz Podcast Network. I'm Peter Bradley, and joining me, as always, is Connor Ryan.
Hey everyone.
So as a TV podcast, every week we review a bunch of TV shows, and this week we talked about, well, not us two personally, but Matt and Alan came in, and they talked about Game of Thrones, and then we talked about Winona Earp, The Flash, Arrow, DC's Legends of Tomorrow, and Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So you've got all that at the end of the show. If you're on the audio version, if you're on YouTube, just click on the links and you can go to any one of those you want. But what was up?
I was just thinking, well done you for writing down all the shows, or at least looking at the list from before without me having to remind you. It's the first time in quite a while.
I wrote them down.
Oh, see,
So-
I don't know. Finally learning.
You know.
Progress.
Didn't have a lot of news items, so I guess my mind wasn't as muddled as it normally might be. But yeah, so we have TV news to talk about first, although not a lot this week. It's actually been a really quiet week on the TV front. A couple of very small things, and then one thing that's kind of news but kind of isn't yet. But hey, so first up, that's Seth MacFarlan's sci-fi comedy series that Fox were pondering. They have decided to order. They've given it a 13-episode order straight to series, but it's not going to debut until the 2017 to 2018 season. So don't get too excited yet. It's a while away.
Another 18 months yet, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. So.
All right. Well, I'll forget about it for about 17 months then.
Yeah, the premise was it's set It's not got a title, that's why I've not said the title. There isn't one yet. But it's set 300 years in the future, and it'll tell the story of Orville, a not so top of the line spaceship. And that's it. It's that simple. Which means it could
be
good.
fine. Yeah.
Yeah, could be good, could be bad.
I know some people don't like Seth MacFarlan, but I like a fair amount of his stuff.
After that Western one that he did.
Yeah, I avoided that like the plague, I'll be honest.
Yeah, after that one, I am not going to give him the benefit of any doubt. I will need to see hard evidence of quality before I touch it. Thank you very much.
That's fair, but I did like Ted.
I didn't see Ted.
Yeah, I can't actually see you liking it all that much. I think it's your sort of.
Well, for a start, Mark Wahlberg can,
yeah.
stay at my face, basically. That'd be nice. Next up, The Path has been renewed for season 2 at Hulu. We covered the first episode of this. We did not feel inclined to keep watching. If you're still watching The Path, let us know how it is. Did it get good over the season? Is it, shaped up quite nicely? You looking forward to season 2? Let us know. Maybe we could be tempted to catch up. Maybe.
Yeah, perhaps.
Because it wasn't terrible. It was just.
It's just kind of like it was fine. Maybe if I had less stuff to watch.
Yeah, that's kind of it. It wasn't interesting enough to add it to an already full schedule.
Yeah.
Had it premiered in like June when everything else had finished, it might have been a different story.
Yeah, at that time, I probably would have at least given it another episode.
Yeah. So, Path's been renewed for season 2. There you go. That's the Aaron Paul series, in case you can't remember it, about the family and the cult and all that jazz. So, that's the only actual news, is those two things. Like I say, a light week. But there was some mumblings this week about Supergirl, and I feel like we should talk about it because we really like Supergirl over the season. And we're both hoping greatly for a second season. And there has been some mumblings this week because we've already sort of commented on the fact that it's taken a while to get the renewal, and we talked about how that might be because there's more negotiations because it's owned by one network and
it's complicated,
and so on and so forth, and they might be negotiating crossovers and things like that. But this week there was a semi-worrying article. I think it was the Wrap. I don't have it in front of me right now, but I think it was the Wrap that reported this, that CBS aren't necessarily liking the idea of keeping it going, mainly because it's costing $3 million per episode, and the ratings don't quite justify that, which to me says just cut the budget a bit. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe that's my simplistic way of looking at it, but
I can understand it from their point of view as well, though. If clearly the ratings aren't out as much as we love the show. I mean, maybe they should just promote it better first and try that. But
Well, no. Let's be honest here, though. Like, as soon as this was announced for CBS, we all said, "Why is this on CBS?"
yeah,
Because
yeah,
we knew it wasn't going to get the numbers that CBS like to have. CBS have ridiculous numbers for terrible shows. That is their MO.
yeah, it is.
They pay the Big Bang Theory cast all $1 million per episode, maybe more than that. I
I think
can't
it's more
remember.
than that now. That was a couple of seasons ago.
Yeah, but the point is that that's easily what $5 million plus per episode just in the cast.
Yeah,
Admittedly, the rest of that show won't cost that much because it's a sitcom, but still,
yeah.
I never understood why this was on CBS. I didn't get it at all. It never made sense to me. And I actually remember, saying this way back when this was first announced last year, or a year and a half ago, whatever it was. The two things were going to happen. Either it was going to be terrible because it was on CBS, and luckily that turned out not to be the case.
I think we were leaning towards that at the time though, because every bit of news was like,
We were.
this
We were.
looks bad.
But the point I was making though is way back then I said two things are going to happen. One of two things are going to happen. Either it's going to be terrible because it's on CBS, or it's going to be good, but it's going to be cancelled at the end of one season because it's never going to keep the audience that CBS likes to keep.
In short, because it's on CBS again.
Because CBS A have a completely different audience base, and B, just because, well, their expectations are so ludicrously high compared to anyone else. And it's worth noting that Supergirl's final, yes, was half of what its pilot was, but that half is still more than anything that CW gets for any of its shows.
Yeah.
So the speculation is that it might move to CBS. It might move to CW, which there would be some concessions if that happened. Those concessions would be it'd have to move to Vancouver, but that would help with the budget because
It's a lot of tax relief there.
it's not even just tax relief; it just costs more to shoot in California.
Yeah, well, I know a lot of the shows do shoot in Vancouver because there's a lot of tax credit stuff.
I'm sure there is. I think there is some tax credits in California, but you have to apply for it, and you're only lucky if you get it. So that would help with the budget for a start. And then if they trim it down a little bit more, they do the flash effects okay on their budget, so I don't see why.
Better than okay, I'd say, for the most part.
So I don't see why that would be that much of an issue. The problem that apparently might come up though is that Kalisa Flockhart, who plays Kat, has it in her contract that she'll only shoot in LA. So we might be saying bye to Kat if it moves to CW, which is a shame. But honestly, if that's the price of keeping the show, I'm happy to pay it.
It's something I'd say now. It's a price I'm willing to pay, but ask me after watching a season of it without her and see if I still feel the same way. Because there's a chance it'll actually have a much bigger impact than I think right now.
I'm sure it'd have an impact, but ultimately she's not why I like the show. I like her there,
Yeah.
but nah. Whatever happens though, I really want a season 2, and I hope they work this out. Whether it's somehow still on CBS or on CW next season, I don't really care which. I just want the show.
I need an excuse to buy boxes of donuts every Monday, because otherwise, what am I doing with my life?
And the really depressing part is I feel like there's a really negative attitude from a lot of people about this show.
Yeah. Do you know, weirdly, I've seen people recently complain about the budget of the show, saying the effects look bad.
Yeah, I don't get that either. For network TV, some of those effects are pretty great. Some of the villains look a bit shoddy, but a lot of like the superpowers and stuff look pretty damn fine for a network show.
Yeah.
So I really don't get that complaint. But a lot of people just see it as trash for some reason, and I'm not sure why.
I feel like they watched the pilot, which was admittedly a bit cheesier than what the show developed
It's
into.
cheesier, but like, admittedly, if you only watch things like Better Call Saul and whatever, like high quality TV, then sure I can maybe see that opinion. But if you watch Arrow,
This is coming from people who watch Flash and enjoy Flash a lot, so. And I feel like Supergirl is fairly similar tonally to Flash for the most part.
it is. But Arrow's garbage.
Yeah, I didn't even feel that.
No, but that's why I'm comparing it. There's people who would like that show who say Supergirl's trash, and I don't understand it at all. Because Arrow is absolute garbage. It's absolutely irredeemable at this point. It's awful.
Yeah.
And Supergirl has its faults, but is actually really charming and gets all the characters, well, most of the characters right. And the heart of the show is where it's meant to be.
Mm.
So, and I think that counts for a lot. So, I hope the naysayers don't affect anything, and hopefully we get season 2. So, yeah, that's the news this week. Just doom and gloom and things we don't care that much about, unfortunately.
What a shit week.
Yeah, pretty shit week.
But some good TV though, to make up for it.
There was some good TV. So that leads us on nicely to the reviews. So if you're on the audio version, they're coming up now. Use the timestamps to jump ahead to whatever ones you want to. And if not, if you're on YouTube, just click on the links on the screen and take to the ones you want. So here's this week's TV reviews.